So I'm going to tell you that we're going to draw heavy on what we've learned so far in this unit. But now we're going to take it a little step further, stating the maximum and minimum measurements that could appear. Okay? Once we state it as measurement plus or minus uncertainty, we're actually saying that a measurement can be above, or so max, or below, that would be our minimum, the target measurement. So in general, we want to state our measurements like this. Okay? So I'll give you a little flow chart here. It used to be you get your measurement. It could be a picture. It could be, okay? From there, we decided this is our precision. And from the precision, we got our what? Our uncertainty, right? So that's how we went from the measurement, which could be a picture, it could be words, whatever. We got our precision, and from there we got our uncertainty. So when you're done this process, we were really warming you up for, we wanted to at the end write the measurement like this again, and then you're going to tack on plus or minus whatever the uncertainty is. Okay? So moving forward, we are not just going to state the precision and uncertainty. I mean, it could be that that's all we ask for. But when you see this, like state that measurement plus or minus its uncertainty, we want it exactly like this, with the plus or minus. Okay, this is worth highlighting. And I'll just use a different color. From this, once you make this statement, you're really also saying that you get a maximum or a minimum measurement. It could be temperature, it could be distance, you name it. So to get the max, I think everybody would agree that you would have to take the measurement and go plus the uncertainty. Like add these two numbers up to get the highest possible. And if you want the lowest, you have to go, right, measurement minus uncertainty. And I would most definitely say that this thing should be on your study sheet. Yeah, this is very, basic understanding you need to have of this unit. That you need to be able to state a measurement with its uncertainty, and from there you get the maximum and the minimum. Sometimes we ask you for both. Sometimes the question will either just ask for the minimum or just ask for the maximum, and we would expect you to know what to do. Either add these two together or subtract them. That's really up to you. You need to decide what needs to happen. Okay, so here's an example. So add this to your study sheet. Make sure you tell yourself, if you have your study sheet on you right now, maybe just tell on that study sheet, like add page 17 to the, right, like right here or something. That way you don't forget. Okay, so the thermostat in Mr. D's classroom is set to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, as stated here, right? This is the picture. It also has words, it jives, right? This question says, state the measurement plus or minus its uncertainty. Like we actually want you to state it like this. Okay? And the measurement is already, it's clear, it's 72. So we know that we're going to end up with 72 degrees Fahrenheit plus or minus some number. This is our uncertainty, right? So why don't we first get our precision? Anybody willing to risk and tell me what the precision is of this measurement? It's been a while, right? It's actually just it's 1 degree. No, not 0.1, just 1 full degree. Because there are no decimals here, right? If you want to, I'm going to do this. This is 71. If it had been a little bit colder in this room, it would be 71. A little bit warmer, 73. So you're going up by 1, right? So precision is 1 degree Fahrenheit. Therefore, my uncertainty is half of that. Right? And this is the number we need to bring down here. I don't know why, sorry, the arrow should probably come from the number, right? This number right here is what we're going to add. So I don't think there's anything new here except for now officially stating it like this. So that's what we want. So it goes back to the skill of finding the precision, then the uncertainty, then you state. Got it? Okay. So now that we have that, we can get the maximum and the minimum temperature in the room, the possibility of it. So the max is going to be 72 plus 0.5. And the minimum temperature would be 72 minus 0.5. So this would be 72.5 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not dollars, so we don't need 2 decimals here. But if you feel comfortable and just want to go 50, sure. Right? 72 minus 0.5 would be 71.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's your max and your min. Okay, and I've clearly labeled this is my max and this is my min, so that's good enough. You don't need to circle anything if you label it. All right, so taking that a little further, next, Mr. D has plants in the room that need a room temperature of at least 65 Fahrenheit. I used to have plants, I don't anymore. Would it be a good idea to set the thermostat to exactly 65? Explain using your knowledge of precision and uncertainty. And I'll just quickly do this. The precision is still 1. The uncertainty is still plus or minus 0.5 Fahrenheit. That hasn't changed. I'm trying to write this. So technically, the temperature in the room, if I set it to 65 Fahrenheit, it's plus or minus 0.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So what's the max here? 65 plus 0.5. So that'll be 65.5 degrees Fahrenheit. The minimum temperature that I could have in the room is 65 minus 0.5, 64.5, correct? This tells me, right, that it would be too cold. It could potentially be too cold for the plants. I know you're like 0.5 of a degree, big deal, right? But we're very precise in this unit, so it's too cold, right? Setting, so here's your explanation, something like this. Setting the temperature to 65 degrees Fahrenheit would not be good, since it is possible for the room temperature to go below 65. Okay? 64.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me just bring this up a bit in case you have a hard time seeing it. I'll just put too cold next to the 64.5. It says it needs at least 65. Not a good idea, because, right? So you should be setting it to like 66, because then it would go down to 65.5 and even warmer. So that's that. So what's different is stating our measurement plus or minus its uncertainty, and from doing so, realizing that we could be above it or below it to a certain degree. It depends on the precision of your measurement. because that will determine the uncertainty. Fun stuff, eh? I know. Hey, speaking of, oh, I don't want to give away my punchline, but you already know it. Okay. But why did the garden turn down a date? Because she had other plans. Anyways, other plans, you know what I mean? There we go. Here's just a ruler, okay? Just knowing how to state the precision. If you have a ruler like this is a metric. What would be the precision of this ruler? In general, folks, there'll be what? Count how many spaces there are, right? There's 10 if you count. What do each of those markings represent? It says centimeters here, but what do we know? Like these are centimeters, but what are the smaller markings? Anybody? Millimeters, yes. That's the precision of a metric ruler. And sometimes it was on the exam, and some students didn't know what to do with it. Okay? So the uncertainty would be plus or minus 0.5 of a millimeter. However, I'm going to go or. Did you know that precision could also be 0.1 of a centimeter? Say what? Yeah, it's the same thing. So in this case, my uncertainty would be plus or minus 0.05 of a centimeter. So you can state your precision and your uncertainty in centimeters or millimeters. Okay, they're actually both the same. They're saying the same thing. Okay. Next, we have our imperial. Do you remember your metric and your imperial? Yeah. Metric has the right grams, liters, meters. Okay, and imperial is like your inches, your feet, pounds. Okay. So if I asked you, what's the precision of this ruler here, or measuring tape? This would be from an inch to another inch. So all you do is you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So precision is 1/8 of an inch. What is 1/8 of an inch as a decimal? 1 divided by 8. You could also say this if you'd like. You turn it into a decimal, that's fine. What's the precision? What would be if you divided 1/8 in half? If you made it even smaller, you split it in half like this. What's 1/8 divided by 2? It's actually 1/16 of an inch. You double the denominator. Watch this. You can either take 0.125 divided by 2. No, sorry. This is not supposed to be a P, folks. Look up here. It's supposed to be U. Yeah, sorry about that. It is basically like Monday today for me, okay? Uncertainty would be that. So if you divide that in half, you get that, or you would go 1 divided by 16, you still get that, right? So it's the same thing. And I'm trying to trick you here a little bit. What's the precision and uncertainty of this? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's still 1/8. It's just labeled differently, okay? You just figure out how many markings are there and you're in business. The uncertainty would still be 1/16 of an inch. Should I take, I'll take this time to also tell you that, right, two little markings like that is also goes for inches, right? So don't overthink it too much with rulers. It is just count how many spaces there are from one whole unit to the other. So how many, what about this one down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, another 8. So I have 16 in total. So here my precision is actually 1/16 of an inch. I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. What would be the uncertainty? What's 2 times 16? Yeah, 1/32. 1/32 of an inch. See, this one here, just for your information, this one is this one right here. Okay, this one right here would go with that. It's very small. You can't see it on the camera, but there are 16 little markings from one to the other. And they go even smaller. Some measuring tapes have 1/32 as their precision. Like you would count 32 little markings from one whole inch to another whole inch. So, yeah. So you just have to be careful. Okay? All right. Let's try stating our measurement plus or minus its uncertainty in a different context. Yeah. Go ahead. Page 19. Please pay attention to this because I'm going to start asking you for state the measurement as, right? I want it in that format. They need to be like tied together with a plus or minus. Once we have this, we're going to state the minimum and the maximum, right? From this, we can state the lowest and the highest possible measurement. Okay, so let's state the measurement. What would this be if you read this, if you wanted to measure this, you make a line. Notice that it's not exactly on a line. You notice that? It's probably hard to see, and I'm not going to take marks off if it's close enough. But it's between this line and that line. So you have to see which one is the closest to. And what would this be if you took this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait. It's 8, right?
Yeah.
It's 8. Yeah, right here. That's the measurement right there. Closest to, okay? So we would state our measurement as 38 millimeters. So 38 plus or minus, what would we add there? Don't say 1. You first have to, you state your precision, which is 1 millimeter. My uncertainty is plus or minus 0.5 of a millimeter from the ruler, okay? So this uncertainty is what we're going to tack onto that. Okay, so plus. So you would get full marks for the first part if you stated it like that. Okay, we took this 0.5 and we plugged it in there. And some students aren't sure, Mr. Dixon, should I just add units for the first number, not for the second? I would say to be safe, just add units to everything. Just add units, just be safe. Okay, so the max, so this would be A, right? For the B part, max would be 38 plus 0.5, which is 38.5 millimeters. For the min, it's 38 minus 0.5. That's 37.5 millimeters. So that piece could be 38.5, 37.5 on paper. B. Let's try that one. how would you state that measurement? This is imperial, right? Inches. So I kind of make a line here. It's smack on in between. It's really in between. So it's up to you what you want to say, but to me this would be 1.5 of an inch. If you're not sure, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so those would be 7/16 if you ask me, because there's 8 to the middle, another 8, so there's 16 slots. It would be 7/16 if you want to pick this one. If you want to pick that one, it's right at the halfway mark. So I'm going to say 1.5 inches plus or minus. We're not going to do that to you where it's right in between. I just couldn't do a good job here with I should have made it closer to either one. So if it's right in between, you just pick the one you want. I would probably go on the higher end there. My precision, 1/16, yeah. My uncertainty, it's half of it. Can I just say this? How did I get my precision? There's 16 marks, right? Between inches. I don't know if this is going to help you, but that's how I got my precision. If you have a hard time with imperial measurements, you count from this to this, right? There's 16 marks. That's how you know for sure what the precision is. And so the uncertainty, you basically just double the denominator. And let's say you absolutely can't, you do not want to do fractions. You have full permission to go 1 divided by 16, write it out as a decimal, but do not round. And then divide your decimal in half to get your uncertainty. You get a really small number. Should we do that? These are your notes, right? So, and you divide, look at this, divide that in half, you get something very small, but that's okay. These are the same thing. Let's go with decimal. I'm going to go with decimal. I'm going to tack this on there because I feel like most of you are probably going to prefer working with decimals. And I want to say something before I move on here. Make sure you write this down first and then. Some students, or I wouldn't blame you if you said 1.5 inches, so my precision is 0.1 of an inch, right? And then you're half of that, it's uncertainty. But why did I come up with this as my precision? Is because I had to go by the picture. If there's a picture, that's what we base our answer on, not this. If all I had given you is that, yes, then you have to base your precision on that measurement, which would have been 0.1 of an inch for precision, 0.05 of an inch for uncertainty, all right? I hope you understand that, okay? But we were given a picture, so we have to go by the picture to come up with these two. This isn't very common, a ruler, but I want you to know how to work with it if it does show up. Let's go with another extreme example here. I made this one to, and actually the province can do this too. This is an extreme example here. We have centimeters. There are no markings in between, correct? So which one is this closest to, 10 or 20? The answer is it closest to this marking here. So we would actually say as our measurement is 20 centimeters plus or minus, what's our precision here? Brave volunteer. Precision from marking to marking, it's 10, right? It's a weird ruler. I would never use this one. But it's just to test your understanding of the unit. My precision is 10. My uncertainty is plus or minus 5 centimeters in this case. Okay. So this 5 is what I'm going to tack onto this measurement. So now you've stated your measurement plus or minus its uncertainty, right? So this 5 came over there. The biggest mistake is that students just find the precision and they tack that on here. That's incorrect. You have to go precision, uncertainty, then you tack it on there. We are not done yet. I forgot also on the top there's a max and a min measurement that could result from this. The max is when you add, and the minimum is when you subtract. So for us, this piece could be as long as 25 centimeters or as short as 15 centimeters. I know it doesn't make sense when you look at it. You're like, I can clearly tell that's, most of you would probably say this is 18 centimeters. Right? Most of you would look at that, it's like about 18, 17, 18, right? But don't go by that, just focus on the concepts that we're covering here, and that's what you want, okay? Let's do this one yet. This one up here. We didn't do our max and our min here. I want you to be comfortable with small numbers. So max is 1.5 plus this, and our min is 1.5 minus that. And you'll have some class time to practice this. I won't do the next part. I'll wait till tomorrow. Yep, the whole number. We do not round in this unit. That is key. If you don't want to use fractions, you have to use all decimals. 1.5 minus 0.03125. It's 1.46875 of an inch. Yeah, I know. You're like, whoa, right? But you know what? If you just follow the steps and take your time, don't round, right? You're going to be fine. I'm going to split this here. This is the work we did. And I don't know if I do arrow here, it's going to mess everything up. So I'll just leave it like that. Okay. You're going to practice exactly this. It goes page 20 to... Yeah, you got it. Page 20 to 24. I think you should be able to do 20 to 22 before you go. I will post the key to that. Make sure you add on your study sheet, you add page, what was it, 17? Like the measurement plus or minus uncertainty. Make sure you add that as well. Okay. That's it. If you need help, you let me know. Thank you for your time, guys.